All right, happy Tuesday. This is our clutch we've been waiting for. As you can see, we have our first pip here. This is going to be the first time I'm recording an egg cutting video with my cell phone rather than a nice camera. So hopefully this comes out a little better than the other times. I know last year when I was doing egg cuttings, people had a hard time seeing what I was cutting. So hopefully this might work a little better with a little wider angle view. So this clutch was the sire, who was basically the sire to everything I had last year. He was OD Leopard Firefly, proved out to be Yellow Belly, and he potentially has Enchi. He's visual ultramel, and he's 100% het pied. So if you got anything from me last year that was either ultramel or het ultramel, he was the sire to that. And this female was a female that I've been breeding for a full entire year that laid this clutch. And she was a black pastel bamboo het ultramel. I didn't shed test her, but I don't have any reason to believe she wasn't. So let's just actually hope that she is a het ultramel. So at the very least, we should probably on average be getting 4 gene animals in this clutch because there's 7 to 8 genes in play. Plus we should be getting visual ultramels. Plus half the babies should be het pied. So this is a little... This is what we call a boob egg. Now that one female that I've been waiting on is actually laying her eggs right now. So that's probably the next video I'm going to do. I'm probably going to end up recording that later today. So that'll be a today video rather than a tomorrow video. Let's see what we got in here. Well, this snake is it's a very white snake. I don't know what that is, to be honest. If that's shown, let me come around the camera here to kind of show you. I have no idea what that snake is in there. That's very, very strange looking. It looks okay. I can see a little bit like a yellow tint on the nose. That's not what I was expecting out of there, so I couldn't really tell you what that is. So we'll have to... Hopefully we can, get a little more information from some of the other eggs in here. Unless there's potential for super fire, or unless the dad has a blue eye Lucy gene, but I can't see the eyes. I don't think they would look like they were blue eyes. So I'm not sure. I was not expecting that. There's also potential that once this snake starts to shed, its first shed, that it could pull some more color in. So it might just be a very, very white pastel-y looking snake that, once we get to the stage that it's ready to shed, or does shed the first time, it pulls in a lot more color. Some of these might be hard to ID too, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in here. Now, this is not an ultramel, but it looks pretty stinking cool. Let's get that in there. Yeah, that pattern on there. Couldn't tell you what that is just off the bat either. I mean, it's pretty bright. I would maybe guess that it's a black pastel firefly, maybe ODYB or something going on like that. That's actually a really cool looking snake though, if you can see that there. Get that a little closer. It's pretty neat looking. Wasn't expecting to see that in there either. That's, some of the reason why I buy some crazy looking snakes with genetics is because you just sometimes don't know what you're going to get out of those clutches. And, when you're mixing a bunch of genes together, there's the potential to get some snakes that are just, patternless and colorless and kind of look ugly. But I wasn't expecting the white snake at all, but that second snake is really neat looking. It only has that, it kind of looks jigsaw, like it's pinstripe Mojave, but it's not, because there was no pinstripe in either snake. But it kind of looks like that, but it only has pattern on the top half of its body, which again, like along the dorsal, which is kind of a unique thing that I wouldn't have expected out of this pairing. So again, just kind of all white. I can see more pattern in this one here, or more. It's not all white. You can see pattern in there. I don't know if that's gonna be an ultramel or not. It's could be just very pale because it didn't shed yet. I don't know if that'll prove out to be ultramel. I would probably lean against no, which isn't good so far because we're potentially 0 for 3 with the ultramel stuff. But once they come out of the eggs, it'll be a little easier to see. But you can I don't know if you can see a little bit of faint pattern there. So I'm on the fence with that one, what that actually is. And I'm very curious. These are those ginormous eggs that were laid. If any of these prove out to be twins or not. I mean, there looks to be like a lot of snake in there, so I don't know. I'm really curious to see what this dark one looks like when it comes out, because it looks pretty stinking neat. And I haven't particularly seen anything like that snake before. So I'm very curious to see what that looks like. You know, and I mean, I could be hitting snakes that, even if they're not visual ultramels, are going to be kind of one of a kind snakes. So again, you start mixing a bunch of genes together that everybody's not working with. You know, if you're hitting a ODYB firefly, you know, those have been done before. But when I'm mixing in bamboo and black pastel and, you know, potentially enchi in there as well, you know, maybe even leopard, and it's just crazy. Just the combinations you can get that people still aren't making. I'm, you know, definitely one of those people that's going heavy on the recessives at this point, but, you know, there's also a lot to be done with some of these other combos. Let's see. There's still a big yolk sac in here. And this snake, again, is, there's a yolk sac, which is weird. I never usually see it up on that side. Again, I would guess that this one's probably going to prove out to be ultramel. You will probably never see that on the camera. It's very, very faint pattern, but I would guess that this one might be ultramel. I can't tell if there's more than one snake in there or just one giant snake. I'm probably going to watch this one closely. I don't know if it's tangled in there or not with the veins. Right here, it looks kind of tangled a little bit, so I'm going to watch it very closely just to make sure that the umbilical cord is not wrapped around that snake at all. Which is part of the reason why I have saved a couple snakes because of that, because of actually cutting the eggs. So cutting the eggs doesn't hurt the snakes as long as you're doing it properly and you're not doing it too early. Look how big this snake is, or this egg is in my hand. These are just some of the biggest, probably these two were the biggest eggs that I've ever had drop. Yeah, because this one I can see the umbilical cord sort of kind of looks like it's wrapped around the snake. So I might have to see where that one goes. There was a snake last year where I had to kind of force the snake through the umbilical cord. Now that one's still in the membrane. It's not actually out of the membrane yet, so I'm not going to touch it just yet, but it might be something where I need to kind of intervene soon, just to make sure there's nothing potentially deadly to that baby in there. Which again is the reason why I cut them. Now this is 54 days. So, you know, we're kind of right on schedule with it, with where we want to be with the first pip. Well, this is another very white snake. I can see, again, some like kind of, you will not see it in there. There's some very faint pattern. So I'm going to guess that's going to be an ultramel as well, just by how light it is. which might be the key with some of the other ones that are very white looking, is that they're ultramels because it's so white looking. You know, obviously, again, they come out, I don't know, it's sort of yellow there. That little circle is a little hole through the membrane. And you're not going to be able to see it, which kind of stinks. But just looks like a giant snake in there. But I would say that's probably ultramel. I don't know, probably not on this one though, because I can see like a little too much of a black pattern. This one I would guess is ultramel. And I would guess this one is too, judging by the colors on it. So we might be, maybe, if I'm right, 1, 2, 3 ultramels, I think. I really was expecting to see more pattern, but it just might be because there's so much going on that they're kind of hatching out and having a little less color up front. Now, I am going to be curious to see if when these come out, any of them have multiple babies in them, because I just can't believe how big these eggs were. But we'll see on that too. Really just kind of hoping for healthy babies, some visual ultramels. You know, obviously if some of them turn out to be het pied, I will be even happier with that. Now I can see a little darker pattern on, again, very white snake. I don't think it's an ultramel because you can see, I don't know if you can see the eye there in the top corner peeking out. You can see some darker pattern that looks blacker, so I don't think that'll be an ultramel. But again, we'll wait for it to come out because there's nothing conclusive here with any of these snakes, which again kind of stinks. But they all look big and healthy, so there's definitely, you know, nothing negative so far. Again, this one, the way it's wrapped in there, hopefully it's okay. Let's see, I usually give it a little poke and a push. Yeah, I think he's okay. It looks okay. Yeah, his eyes are moving. It's definitely, the umbilical cord's definitely, let me show you. So the umbilical cord, if you can see it right here, is definitely wrapped around the snake. So I don't want to play with it too much yet because the snake looks like it's still alive. It's still kind of in that little membrane. Let's see if we get, there we go. But I will be following it closely. And as you can see, what's very unusual is the egg sacs over here, the yolk sacs on the side. Typically it's on the bottom. I mean, that doesn't mean anything that it's on the side, but it might have something to do with how the umbilical cord sort of wrapped around the snake a bit. So this might be a snake that I have to kind of intervene with. Typically, once they're out of the membrane, you can sort of push them and wiggle them, and they'll move through it kind of like a hoop, and they'll move their body through the umbilical cord and sort of untie themselves. So I'll need to pay close attention to that. But this one's looks like it's definitely the ultramel, one of the ultramels. So I want to make sure that one comes out, especially safely. But that one looks really cool. I think that's an ultramel. I think that might be. So I think we might be 3 for 3 with ultramels and the visuals and the non-visuals. And let's see, cleaned up here. I'll show you guys the female that's laying real fast here. I'll get the camera off the tripod. Let's see. It's gonna be a little bit longer video with the cutting, but I'm gonna take another look here at all the babies. You can see it. There's that one's super cool. Let's zoom in there. How cool that one looks in there. That's really cool looking. I'm really excited to see that come out. So those are those guys, and here's this female. So she's 4 days late at this point. So far we have 4 eggs, and it looks like there's, I would say 1, 2, probably at least 4 left. As you can see, that's her bucking because she's saying, "Get out of here." I'm laying my babies, bro. So that's her. And let's see, this girl still not laying, but she's looking like she's getting ready to. So a busy day here. Hopefully these come out okay. I'm gonna keep close tabs on that one snake in there. Hopefully it comes out safely. I probably should, but again, the reason I cut is because of that. You know, maybe if that snake would have hatched on its own, I never would have known that there would have been any issues with it with hatching, or that the umbilical cord is wrapped around it. But I do know that, and that's something I can intervene with just in case I need to.